guys ready to go?
Thank you.
Okay, welcome to the Board of Selectmen meeting. Today's Wednesday, June 25th, 2025. Let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And Troy Deering, can you lead us in the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay. Okay, item 3 on the agenda, resignations, parking authority. Oh, may I have a motion? Sorry. Yes.
We need to move, believe the FairTV.
Oh, yes.
Move that forward.
FairTV is,
So just make a motion
yes.
to move agenda item number 6 to be next on the agenda.
To be number 4, after number 2. Because
Actually, just after 2, to do it, to take that up right now.
Okay, and that's because the commissioner has to leave?
I believe so.
Yeah. Seconded. Okay.
Vote.
Any discussion on this item? We're moving number 6 on the agenda to after this to number 3 on the agenda because of the time constraints of the FairTV commissioner to the chair. He's not here though.
I'm actually on the.
Oh, David, you're here. Okay.
Hi, how are you?
Hey,
My
good. How are you?
All right.
No
I'm
problem.
good. My apologies for being a little inflexible today, unusual.
Oh, that's okay.
Let's just vote.
So, any comment, public comment? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, thank you, David. Thank you for being here. All right.
No problem. Thank you.
Item 3, resignations, parking authority.
We're doing this now.
Oh, sorry. Item 2 is the former item 6. FairTV Commission Chair. To hear, consider, and act upon the following resolution as recommended by the FairTV Commission. Resolve that William A. Gerber, First Selectman of the Town of Fairfield, is empowered to execute, authorize, and approve on behalf of the Town of Fairfield a professional services contract agreement between the Town of Fairfield, Sullivan Independence Hall, 725 Old Post Road, Fairfield, Connecticut, and Luke Altieri with an office at 42 Wilshire Boulevard, Milford, Connecticut, 06460, contractor for professional technical services supporting the town's government and education television stations known as FairTV Broadcast System, FairTV, for a period of 1 year commencing July 1st, 2025, and terminating June 30th, 2026. May I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved. Okay, second. Yeah, or no, you're seconding. Right? Any questions or comments from the board? Mr. Kraft, Commissioner Kraft, anything you would like to say?
Yeah, hopefully you can hear me. Just wanted to point out will be Luke Altieri's 3rd year as FairTV Commissioner. He's done a fantastic job to the point where, knock on wood, the process generally runs in a very automated manner, and we've received, few, if any, complaints, if you will, over the last several months. Luke has, hired more people to meet the increase in meetings. More people, when I say hire more people, to cover all the meetings. It hasn't significantly impacted our costs, but obviously with more meetings comes more of a greater need to have the budget flexibility, and he's just done so with room to spare. And as such, we thought it prudent to, award him a more modest increase this year of 5% on top of his, contracted salary of $50,000. So really, that's the gist of it. Very grateful to Luke for all of his efforts.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Luke's made himself very accessible and is always there, to help with a smile when needed. And I would be inclined to renew his contract. Any questions or comments from the board?
No, agree. Very much appreciate the the service that FairTV provides, thank the commission, and thank Mr. Altieri for his staff for just being responsive to the needs of the town and providing, just keeping our public aware of our town government. I think that so many people tune in, use FairTV, and really love it. So happily support this.
And David, thank you so much for all that you do. You work, it's not an easy commission to be on. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I just wanted to add that what we've really seen with FairTV over the last few years is a really good transition from, what was obviously what is and continues to be a fairly outdated, viewing platform of Optimum, or Altice, I guess is the proper name, and people really utilizing the YouTube channels now, which obviously is, the sort of more modern or current way of consuming television anyway. So we're happy with that transition, and it's kind of crucial to make it accessible and, accessible to all. So.
And you have great people like Chelsea. We've
Yes.
gotten to know Chelsea over the last year.
Great. She's a wonderful addition.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Any comments or questions from the board? Any comments from the public? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you so much, David, again, for everything, for helping reshape FairTV into what it is now.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate your kindness and flexibility today.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
So, congrats to Luke, and back to item number 3. Resignations, Parking Authority. Greg M. Alperin, Democrat, 130 Lee Drive, term 1123 to 1128, and Richard E. Fitzgerald, Jr., R., 210 Henderson Road, term 1122 to 1127. Really want to thank both Greg and Richard for your great service to the town over the years, and thank you so much for what you've done for the Parking Authority. We will be bringing a Parking Advisory Commission right up to the Board of Selectmen very soon with recommendations of what, for how it should be structured. And in order to ensure that there are no gaps in coverage going forward. But we continue to integrate the new, parking department into the town, and so far so good. No major issues. Okay, reappointments. Board of Library Trustees. Stephanie cannot attend due to a work conflict, but Stephanie Ortsari, Democrat, 91 Euclid Avenue, term 7/1/2025 to 6/30/2031, appointed by the Board of Selectmen on 5/1/2024 to serve partial term of 7/1/2019 to 6/30/2025. This is a reappointment as recommended by the Board of Library Trustees. Is there anyone here from the Board of Library Trustees? Well, I don't see anyone, but reappointments. Stephanie couldn't attend, but they recommended that she be reappointed. May I have a motion?
So much.
Second. Any comments from the board or questions?
Just thanks, Stephanie, for being willing to be reappointed.
Yeah, thank you so much, Stephanie.
Her work on library is near and dear to so many in our community, so very much appreciate the work of the trustees.
People are going to the library now for a cooling center. They go for a lot of different reasons.
A lot of different reasons.
Yeah. One of our great assets in town. Any comments from the public? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Unanimous. So congratulations, Stephanie, and looking forward to working with you for another 4 years. 4B. So this is Ethics Commission reappointment of Christopher E. Baker, independent, 273 Whiting Pond Road, term 7/25 to 7/2027. And Rosemary Beretta, Democrat, 410 South Benson Road, term 7/2025 to 7/2027. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second, yeah, Brenda seconded. Any comments or questions from the board?
Just thank them both again for their service on the Support Commission. We just appointed.
Yeah, really not.
I feel like
It was very
underpraised.
It was really nice, I contacted Will Ferguson and said, is it okay to reappoint you? He was like, absolutely, absolutely, he said, so, and I think Will seems to be doing, a really nice job, and thank you for, this is not an easy board, so thank you. All right, any comments from the public?
Does Ms. Beretta want to make any?
Huh?
Does she want to
Oh,
make-
would you like to
No.
say anything?
All right.
just wanted to-
Thank you, Rosemary. Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh.
Any comments from the public? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
You too. Have a great summer.
Thanks, you too. Take care, Rosemary. And thanks, Chris Baker, I don't see him on, but, okay. Item C, 4C, reappointment to the Fairfield Arts Commission. Kevin D. Goslin, Clara L. Bauer, that's Lou Human, and Kathleen Lang. Oh, I see Mark Barnhart is here. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Mark, would you like to speak about the
Are you
reappointments?
seconding or?
Yeah, Brenda seconded.
Okay.
Would you like to speak about the reappointments of Lou and Kevin and Kathleen? People that you know quite well.
Sorry, I think the subject is having an issue with their mic.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're muted, Brenda, it seems.
No, she's not muted.
Well, it says muted on, like there's a red line through her thing up there. That might be on her side though, right?
It might be Michelle's.
Yeah, that's Michelle's microphone.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't have the red muted thing. But yeah, we can't hear anything.
Brenda, we can't hear you. Do you have something you can unmute on your end? No? Huh,
So strange.
should we go
I'm
back
going to try to,
Well,
I will just,
yeah, why don't you,
very briefly, Mark Barnhart, Director of Community Economic Development, provides staff support to the Fairfield Arts Commission. Kevin, Lou, and Katie are all very active members of the Fairfield Arts Commission. I believe all are interested in being reappointed. I just left a meeting with Lou Hoyman and Charlie McDonald, who is the chair of the Fairfield Arts Commission. We were talking about Arts Commission business, so I know they're, again, very interested in continuing to serve if the board so chooses, so
well, coming off of Make Music Day, oh my gosh, that was awesome, Mark. Awesome.
Well, and Lou, that has been her side passion project. She
Yeah.
has been instrumental in bringing that to Fairfield and has been the volunteer coordinator for Fairfield Make Music Day since its inception in Fairfield 8 years ago. So we really can't do Make Music Day without Lou. So
Yeah.
much
He's
thanks to
incredible.
her. And for those of you who didn't took part or were able to participate, Fairfield's Make Music Day is the pride of Connecticut. It's the largest one in the state in terms of number of performances and one of the top, I think we're now top 5 in the country, which
And
is
your
something.
master of ceremonies was incredible. What a great musician. Ryan Torv?
Yeah, well, I
He's
thought,
amazing.
yes, Brian is great, and we've enjoyed him on many occasions. He teaches up at Fairfield U, I believe. Thank you.
But the great thing about him, like I pulled him up now, he's all I'm listening to on SoundCloud, and turned out he's played with several people that I went to high school with. The Brecker brothers went to my high school. pretty amazing. And a guy named Andy Snitzer, and I talked about that, and I came off the stage, and someone came up to me and said, "You know Andy Snitzer?" It was just a great day. Yeah. So yeah, thank you, Lou, if you're on. I don't know if. And now you have an arts district that you have to continue to fill with great art.
You do.
And you have a budget, so Charlie can't complain anymore. No, he'll complain
Always
anyway.
wants more.
He wants more, I know. All right, any comments from the public? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, approved. Thank you so much, Mark, for everything.
Well, I'm actually here for an item, a
Okay.
different item.
Okay.
But I have to be pressed into
Well,
service.
I learned something today, that Lou Human's name is Clara L. Bauer. Is that her which is her stage name?
You'll have to ask her.
Clara Bauer, her like maiden name or something? Okay, so the next item, item 5, Land Acquisition Commission. The appointment of Anthony Bruce B. Audino, 475 Mill Hill Drive, term 11/2021 to 11/2025. He's moving from alternate to full member, filling the vacancy left by Ted DeZavane, unaffiliated. May I have a motion? Yeah, really thank Bruce for stepping up and being willing to become a full member. A lot more activity on this board than there used to be. Is Bruce on?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hey, thank you for increasing your commitment, Bruce, really appreciate
Yes,
it.
I was just here
That
for
was
the
quick.
appointment,
Yeah,
I
I
think
know.
6 weeks ago, so.
Yeah, 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 things happen
appreciate the
fast in
upgrade.
Fairfield. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, looking forward to working with the commission and benefit the town and everything. So appreciate the appointment.
Vote of confidence. Yeah. From the board, from the commission and this board, yeah.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Anything else you'd like to say?
I think that's it. Look,
Okay, cool, cool. Any comments or questions from the board?
Thank you.
And, you know, again, thanks to Ted DeZavane, for his work over the years. Any comments from the public? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, cool. Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is item number 6. I'm sorry, we did 6. Item number 7, this is Chief Kieran Dunn, who's here. To hear, consider, and act on approving a coordinated medical emergency direction agreement between the town of Fairfield and Southwest Regional Communications, Inc. for an initial term of July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026, and further authorizing the first selectman to sign and any documents in furtherance of said agreement. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded. Chief.
So this is nothing new. This is a compact that we've had with Southwest CMed for as long as I've been here, the decade that I've been here, and I know it's gone way before. What it basically is, they handle their communications center up in, I believe they're out of Shelton right now. But what they do is they handle the coordination of EMS ambulance coordination for mass casualty incidents. They make telemetry between hospitals and paramedics out in the field. They coordinate frequencies that are used by all EMS agencies. And they also, among other things, they activate special surgical and medical teams. So, every municipality in this area pretty much uses them to handle this coordination. And they haven't sent a contract in a few years, but they did this year to all the municipalities. So I sent it to our town attorney, and he said everything was fine in the contract as far as he's concerned, but he just of course, it has to go through the Board of Selectmen.
Yes, excellent, thank you. And this has been working well over the years?
It has, yes.
Okay, fantastic. I have no comments. Any comments or questions from the board? Seeing none. Any comments from the public? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor, say aye. And are you in favor or opposed? Say nay. Abstention? Are you approving, Brenda? Okay, unanimous.
Okay.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you very much, everyone. Good seeing you.
Item 9, Purchasing Authority, Adam Tulin and John Cattell are here. To hear, consider, and act on authorizing the Purchasing Authority to enter into the proposed agreement between the Town of Fairfield and Crawford Doer. Huh? Oh, I missed 8. Oh, Purchasing Authority. To hear, consider, and act on authorizing the Purchasing Authority to enter into the proposed contract between the Town of Fairfield and Reynolds Welding and Fabrication LLC of Windsor, Connecticut, to fabricate and install a recycling canopy at the Fairfield Transfer Station as detailed in Town of Fairfield RFP number 2025-51R and Reynolds Welding and Fabrication LLC proposal dated February 28, 2025 for a lump sum amount not to exceed $145,425 with additional authority to enter into necessary change orders in an amount not to exceed the approved funding for this project. How long has this project been going on?
You signed off on it in December.
Okay, but it feels,
December 9th of last year.
and you went out to bid and got no,
Went out to bid once, we had no responses, we,
We re-advertised.
I'd like to make a motion. Second, okay. Yeah, sorry, John, go ahead.
so this is a shed over an area which will house a recycling trailer to keep the recycling dry during your inclement weather, which if it gets wet, then it just turns into MSW, garbage. We went out to bid probably about a year ago. We had no bidders. We went out and rebid again and had one bidder. As far as with the grant, which was before that, that was signed off for the acceptance from the boards as well as yourself signing it and sent back on December 11th to the
It's the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Committee throughout the state.
Right, so this is being paid for through the grant?
Majority is, the grant was about 122 or so thousand.
45?
So, we're the balance, the small balance of that will be paid, from the DPW operating funds for the next
Okay.
next fiscal year.
Yeah, no, this has been it's come before us several times, and yeah. And I'm glad for you that you won't have to deal with it anymore. When will the work get done, do you expect?
They can go ahead and start fabricating as soon as we get this process done. It shouldn't be a relatively long construction process because they will do most of the fabrication in their shop, and then they basically just piece together the puzzle and the roofing to the existing structure that's there.
It's metal poles and canvas, or is it?
It'll be full steel. It's
Steel.
hurricane rated.
Okay.
It's a hurricane rated outdoor shed structure, essentially, just on a massive
Okay.
scale.
All right, any questions from the board?
Ms. Kupchak is we're
Working on her audio?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Brenda, if you have any questions, can she type them in?
Yeah,
Okay.
and then I think we're gonna have her call in and get the audio.
Okay,
Did you
okay.
try to just leave and then come back in?
Yeah. I don't know what's going on.
Maybe text her, or do you have her number? Okay. Any comments from the public? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor, say aye. And just want to congratulate you, for getting this done.
Thank you.
Thank
looking
you.
forward to it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Troy. Thanks, John. So that was
8, so we're on 9.
Okay, item number 9, Purchasing Authority, Adam Toolin and John Cattell. Here consider an act on authorizing the Purchasing Authority to enter into the proposed agreement between the town of Fairfield and Crawford Door of Stratford, Inc. of Stratford, Connecticut, to furnish and install replacement garage doors at the town garage as detailed in the Crawford proposal dated May 30th, 2025, for a cost not to exceed $15,279, with additional authority to enter into necessary change orders in an amount not to exceed the approved funding for this project. May I have a motion? Seconded. John?
So this is to replace 3 of the many garage doors we have down at our yard. I think we probably have about 50 of them at least. We replaced 3 last year. I'd like to continue with the 3 every year just so that you don't get hit all at once with them all going bad. But this replaces the door and the motor operator on the 3 garage bay doors.
And the doors are just deteriorating and rusted?
They're old, yeah, they're getting old and worse.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
Did you move this item?
Yeah, and you second, I think.
And this was the low bid. There were 3 bids 3 quotes, not quote. It wasn't an RFP because it's under the 25. But there were 3 quotes and this was the lowest one.
How long are these doors expected to last?
I knew someone was gonna ask me that. And I didn't have the exact number, but I would say you get at least 15 years or so on these things.
Put it on your calendar for 15 years from now. Check on it. Okay. Any comments from the public? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Still here for the other one.
Item 10, Adam Toolin and Mark Barnhart, Purchasing Authority. To hear, consider, and act on authorizing the Purchasing Authority to enter into the proposed contract between the town of Fairfield and Wiles Architects of Milford, Connecticut, to provide design services and all else necessary for the proposed renovations for the 124-128 Grassmere Avenue, as detailed in Town of Fairfield Community and Economic Development Project 2025-02, and the Wiles submission dated June 9th, 2025, for a total estimated contract value of $20,000, with additional authority to enter into necessary change orders in an amount not to exceed the approved funding for this project. Make a motion.
So moved.
Seconded.
Second.
We hear you. Good. All right, you're back on, Brenda. Cool.
Right.
For the record, Mark Barnhart, Director of Community Economic Development. As the board knows, we do have a multifamily rehab program that is funded through our Federal Community Development Block Grant Program, which can provide assistance to owners of rental properties here in town to make improvements, to improve the quality of our housing stock, as well as also make those units more affordable. So in exchange for our financial assistance, we requested deed restriction to keep the rents at an affordable level for the duration of our term. This project involves a property, a 4-family unit at 124, 128 Grassmere Avenue. The work is more involved than what we typically see, so we wanted to, with the owner's permission, engage an architect to develop specifications and design plans for the project. We'll also include some exterior facade improvements to improve the visual appearance of the property from the street, as well as doing some of the necessary upgrades to mechanical and other systems within the unit. And so we had solicited proposals from 3 architects in the area, 2 of which responded. I believe Tom Ivers from my office and the owner of the property conducted interviews of Wiles and Antonazzi, and the unanimous recommendation was to select George Wiles based on his proposal to do this work, but that requires your concurrence and approval. So that's why it's before you today.
So this is the person who lives at 124, 128 Grassmere came to the town
He doesn't live there. He owns the property. It's a four-family rental unit there.
It already is four
It
families.
is a four-family
Okay.
rental unit, and we would like to make improvements to the unit, and in exchange, request a deed restriction to keep it affordable for 40 years.
And the town went out to bid with him, like on his,
We went through a process to solicit proposals, since this is professional services, but we did ask proposals from 3 architectural firms to do this work. Sometimes it's simple, like we're replacing a boiler or a furnace. That's pretty straightforward. In this case, we're doing a lot of different improvements to it, including exterior work, which does involve a little bit more design and putting together bid specs so we can get contract pricing. So that's why we went and hired, or proposing to hire an architect.
this is from CDBG.
This is all federally funded, correct?
Community
So
Development.
no
Project.
town funds involved in this.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the board?
How did you choose the 3 firms that you invited?
I think that was a discussion with the purchasing department. We asked 3 for architectural firms in any area that would do this type of work, and so we went out to the 3 firms that were recommended to us.
And there wasn't a need to post, I guess, this is for Adam.
We didn't, we just, again, it's a pretty small project, so we didn't advertise too much on it.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Any comments from the public? And is 20,000 is that sort of the max? I can't remember.
Well, the renovations themselves will probably be, orders of magnitude beyond that, so that'll, part of what he'll develop is not only design plans and specs for the work, but an estimate of what we likely, the probable cost of the project will be.
So CDBG
Can fund
can
both
fund more than
design-
20K?
Yeah, yep. We can fund, typically, again, most of our projects are probably in that $50,000 to $70,000 range. We can go beyond that if there's a need.
Okay.
So that's what we're looking at.
All right. Any comments or questions from the board? Any comments from the public? Back to the board. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Yeah, thank you, Mark. This is pretty cool to
Yeah,
increase housing stock this way.
we were actively looking for projects, so if there's landlords that need improvements to rental properties here in town, we'll be happy to talk to them.
And that area of town has some pretty cool historic buildings, really.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, item 11, thanks, Mark. Purchasing Authority, we've got Adam Tulin and John Cattell here. To hear, consider, and act on authorizing the Purchasing Authority to enter into the proposed contract between the town of Fairfield and Big Little Sanitation to provide all materials, equipment, and all else necessary for curbside bagged leaf pickup throughout the town of Fairfield, and provide for the transportation and disposal of curbside bagged leaves as detailed in the Town of Fairfield bid number 2025-43 and the Big Little Sanitation submission dated February 11th, 2025, with additional authority to enter into necessary change orders in an amount not to exceed the approved funding for this project. May I have a motion? Second. John?
So this is for your curbside leaf pickup that's in your, I'll say, your eastern and southern portion of the town. It's a 3-year agreement. It went out to bid as an RFP. We only had one responder, which was Big Little. Big Little has been doing it for the past multi-years, at least 5 or 6 that I know of. Their contract expired from the last time we did a 3-year. It was extended once or twice, and we wanted to get it back out to bid again. First year is cost of $241,116. That's approximately a 2.1% increase from what we were charged last year. It's, like I say, 3 years that we'll probably be going with it. If we do have language in there that we could cancel if need be for out years, but this is the way we've been successfully cleaning up the leaves in the city. They pick them up, they go out 4 weeks, 3 weeks, take a week off, a week after Thanksgiving, and then they come back a fourth week throughout the whole town.
So they do curbside pickup and take it to the transfer station, to the recycling?
No, they actually take it up to Snow's Farm up in Easton.
Oh, okay,
And they pay a tip fee to take them up there.
okay.
And it works out well because they use their packer bodies when they're, cleaned out and they're empty. So they're using packer bodies that they can load them up and pack them in there.
And We Care Denali doesn't want the leaves, or?
The residents, I think, can take them down there and they can take a certain
Okay.
amount, but there's they end up sending out a lot of their leaves processed with it. They're added in to make a compost process out of it.
Right.
Snow's Farm.
Okay, thank you. And do you have a sense for why there was only one bid? Is this because of the gas prices or something, or it's just more expensive to do?
Big Little is our largest hauler
Yeah,
in town. They're going up and down these streets every day. They know them well.
right.
They're local. It's kind of advantage for them. You kind of require that it has a packer body. I took that out. It used to require that you have a packer body. I believe I took that out of the RFP just to open it up to others if they want to use some type of open top truck, but it's just got the one.
Can I just add?
Yeah,
Just briefly, it's pretty de minimis, but John mentioned approximately 2.1% increase. Obviously, we never like to hear about increases, but they're a fact of life. But just worth mentioning that the contracts that we're currently renewing, this past month, we utilized the Consumer Price Index.
Okay.
And we're running at about 2.4% on contract renewals right now. So this is actually,
okay.
I don't want to call it a savings, but it actually came in a little bit lower than if we had just done a renewal. So I just wanted to mention that.
Well, that's good color, thank you. So how many years is the contract for, like the CPI component? Is that, so next year we'll be looking at CPI again, you won't have to negotiate?
No, actually, they gave us prices for 3 years. So
Okay.
the first year was the amount I gave you, which is a 2.1%. Next year is a 2% increase over that.
Okay,
And then third year out is a 3% increase.
okay.
So very reasonable.
All right, thank you.
Ever look into like vacuuming up the leaves? My parents just have to
Loose leaf pickup is a
That'd be
large
okay.
expense.
Okay.
It's
Assume
very,
that's-
it's very manpower driven. You get into the winter where it'll rain and freeze and now you're trying to scrape them up. I did that in Bridgeport for a bit. I used to call it on-street composting. I'd turn the leaves every snowstorm, basically. It's not the way to go. Bag leaves at least gives you a good compromise that the resident can get rid of them, and it's an efficient way to pick them up.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions from the board? Any comments from the public? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor, say aye. Okay, approved. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Item 12, Adam Tulin and Michelle Gore, Water Pollution Control Authority General Manager, to hear, consider, and act on authorizing the purchasing authority to enter into the proposed master agreement between the town of Fairfield and Penick Construction of Norwalk, Connecticut, to provide on-call emergency sewer repair and other on-call construction services as detailed in Town of Fairfield RFP 2025-57, and pen a submission dated April 22nd, 2025, on an as-needed basis for an initial base term of 1 year with up to 4 optional renewal terms upon mutual agreement for a total contract term not to exceed 5 years. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Adam, or Michelle, would you like to talk about this?
Yeah, if I could just kick it off and
Okay,
then.
you kick it off, Adam. All right, thank you.
Yeah, and, you know, I understand we need to do them as separate, but 12 and 13 are effectively the same item, just two different contractors. So if you don't mind me speaking generally to both of them for a moment. So I'll just say this is in line with the model we've been trying to move towards of developing usable on-call contracts that have master agreements associated with them. So, you know, as sort of small to medium-sized projects, or in this case, emergencies, come up, we can move forward more efficiently. You know, in a way, grateful to Michelle Gore for bringing this up, that she wanted to move forward with this so that we could get another one of these in the works. You know, I'm really hoping to see more and more of these as we move forward.
Fantastic. Well, should we take both 12 and 13? Should I read 13?
Well,
Do them separate.
just do them separate, being that we already.
Okay. Michelle, we had a couple emergencies this past year, right? I believe one was on Sasko Hill Road, and wasn't there one, you saw like a leak was,
So we had one very recently, and it was at our Fairfield Beach pump station where the force main was ruptured. And that is an excellent example of where these emergency services on call would come into play. And so just to piggyback off of Adam's introduction here, these two award recommendations apply not only to WPCA's sewer collection infrastructure, but it also applies to DPW's stormwater collection system as well.
Okay.
This is a really important award recommendation. It provides for a much needed, reliable service to respond to emergency repairs of both the collection systems and also other non-routine repairs. To my understanding, this is the first time that the town has gone out to bid for these types of on-call collection system services. And really, this is just the start of having a list that we could actively pull from. Both of these contractors have a successful, proven work record here with both DPW and with WPCA. Both intimately are familiar with our sewer collection system and have responded to our needs in the past. We're looking in the future to grow upon this list. This is for a 1-year service award and then potentially annual renewals for 4 years thereafter. And then at that point, you know, we would look to see how successful we've been with these two contractors and potentially go out to bid for similar services. This award package was benchmarked off of other public works and WPCA services for same. And I'm happy that we actually had 3 bidders total. And I'm happy that these 2 contractors are being recommended for award, just given their proven successful track record and their intimate knowledge in working with the town of Fairfield WPCA and DPW. So the scope of this work, inclusive to responding to repairs.
We lost you, so.
Michelle.
Michelle, are you there?
As when the force main was breached. Hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. We lost you for like 10 seconds.
Okay, so just going briefly over the scope of services. So in addition to responding to emergency repairs of the piping infrastructure themselves, they will initiate bypasses of our system. They'll also clear blockages under these contracted services to ensure that our services are being able to maintain intact for our customers. So they'll also respond to manholes that need repairs, post paving, bring rims up to grade. These are services that WPCA and DPW don't always have the resources to perform in-house.
So when you had issues with the pump station, you were frantically calling around to try to get someone in, right?
I think that predated me,
Okay.
just slightly.
Okay.
Yeah, but, you know, that would address a situation such as that. Now that we have these two contractors on board, we could call on them. They will be able to, or they're required under this contract to respond to us within 25 minutes of receiving our call.
Wow.
And to actually be active in executing the needs within 2 hours of our initial call.
Okay. And John, were you involved in the bid?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And does the contract have like set prices for a type of service, like a manhole cover is a certain amount and a pump or something else?
We do have a list, yes.
Okay. All right, cool. This is great. That would make me feel a lot better in your shoes. Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Any questions from the board?
No, I think it's great, just from, aside from the WPCA, just for the storm drains as well. We've had residents just have concerns, especially as we're going into hurricane season with storm drains not functioning properly and adding to potential flooding in certain areas of town. So very happy to see that both systems are being addressed by this.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Any comments from the public? Chelsea, any comments about storm drains? All right, back to the board. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle, thanks, John. So we're on item 14.
13, we have to vote on 13 though, even though we talked about it.
Oh, item 13 is similar, but we have to, okay. Item 13, Adam Toolin and Michelle Gore, Water Pollution Control Authority General Manager. To hear, consider, and act on authorizing the purchasing authority to enter into the proposed master agreement between the town of Fairfield and Burns Construction of Stratford, Connecticut to provide on-call emergency sewer repair services and other on-call construction services as detailed in Town of Fairfield RFP number 2025-57 and the Burns submission dated April 22nd, 2025 on an as-needed basis for an initial base term of 1 year with up to 4 optional renewal terms upon mutual agreement for a total contract term not to exceed 5 years. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Anything different that you would want to add? Anything, Michelle? Or is it exactly, is she not on?
I think they're both.
It's the same, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing, so,
It's awarded to 2 different companies. In case you can't get a hold of one, you got the other.
okay, so there's no, nothing really to say other than that. It's Burns Construction. So any comments from the public? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you, Michelle and John. Item 14, Purchasing Director Adam Toolin. I don't know if Caitlin Bossi is here online.
She asked if I could handle it
Oh,
for tonight.
okay. To hear, consider, and act on approving a disbursement policy review engagement letter between the town of Fairfield and PKF O'Connor Davies for policy review services as more fully described in the agreement. The funding for this is in the Board of Finance Department 01003-130-53200 in fiscal year 2025, and further authorizing the first selectman to sign and any documents in furtherance of said agreement. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded. Adam? Yeah, go ahead, Adam.
Yes, thank you. So this is a professional service that, in terms of the purchasing policy, we're covered here with, it's at $10,000 to $12,000. We did not need to do a formal RFP process. We know PKF O'Connor Davies well. They serve other auditing functions with the town already. This specific agreement is to evaluate, I think it's about 9 specific cash disbursement functions and evaluate them and come up with any recommendations that could help fill any gaps or improve any processes. So Attorney Pierce has reviewed this, and we're just looking for your okay to sign the agreement.
Yeah, I mean, I could provide a little bit of color for this. So Tom Harris would be here if he wasn't, he has a medical procedure that he has to have done. This is something Tom has wanted to do since he got here, after talking with Caitlin and members of the accounting staff, to review our accounting policies and make sure that PKF O'Connor is okay, or whether to see whether they have any recommendations of changes we should make to our accounting policies. So they'll be looking at our existing policies and actually looking for whether or not there's anything we don't, what we have, whether they think we should make some changes, or ones that we don't have, that we should create. And PKF O'Connor, they know the town well. So this, and the money, each year, the Board of Finance in recent years has put aside some money in the budget for this type of work. And so the money is coming from the Board of Finance's budget. Any comments or questions from the board? Yes.
Just about timing for when these reviews will happen. I know that there has been, that Ms. Fossey will be leaving in the next few weeks. So I'm a little disconcerted about just staff capacity to do this work. And I don't know if you can, the CFO isn't here to just address. I absolutely appreciate that this is under the Board of Finance's purview, and I don't want to hold it up. But in terms of timing of needing to have this work done, do you have flexibility of when this needs to be completed?
Well, I think the idea is that PKF O'Connor has the resources to do the work. It's not going to be on the accounting department to do the work. So I'm not sure that they're going to need a lot of resources from the accounting department.
Time in terms of questions. I mean, I think that it did say that they would be, working. Inquiry of town staff to confirm understanding of policy, any known concerns or suggested improvements to the policy or improve compliance. So this is really more just for, I guess, the finance department to you and Mr. Harris in terms of being conscious of making sure that the appropriate staff, being that they're likely to be turnover, to make sure that if we're approving this, I just want to make sure that the timing of when it's completed is happening.
Well, Tom, I think Tom feels comfortable moving ahead with this. He's a very seasoned finance person with a lot of, he's worked on policies before in many of his jobs, and I think he's quite prepared to make it happen.
Just wanted to have clarification, being that it was on the agenda that the controller was putting this forward.
Yeah.
From what, and so right now, given.
Yeah. I mean, his procedure, I think, is very quick, and he'll be back very.
So he will be overseeing this.
Yes. Yeah. This is his baby. And PKF O'Connor is going to be doing a lot of the detailed work. Okay. Any other questions from the board?
I think Adam wanted to say something.
Adam, you want to say something?
Oh, I was just going to say, looking quickly at the list of specific policies they'll be looking at, I was just going to add in terms of staffing concerns, close to half of them will have at least some crossover with the purchasing department, and we're fully staffed. We're ready to help out. I was just going to add that in case Selectman Vitale had any concerns.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Thank you for adding that, Adam. Okay, any comments from the public? Seeing none, back to the board. Any other questions or concerns from the board? All right, you ready to vote? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, thank you, unanimous. Thank you, Adam. Okay, item 15, COO David Becker and Senior Civil Engineer Mega Jane are here. Chief, here we go. To hear, consider, and act on authorizing the purchasing authority to enter into the proposed agreement between the town of Fairfield and AKRF, Inc. for cloud-based hosting services to enable the remote management of the town's signal controllers with additional authority to enter into future extensions with similar terms and conditions upon mutual agreement. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded. Mega, I believe
Second.
you have been looking to do this for, I believe this has been a year in the making.
Yes,
Yeah.
it has been a year in the making. So this will be a good services cloud hosting service, meaning we are centralizing the system. Right now, the controllers at each intersections, we have 15 traffic signals and we have a controller. So the controller is basically keeping track of the red, yellow, and green signals. So any malfunction that happened at the signal now will be notified on our computers rather than just seeing this flashing light and people calling to anybody. Right now, we will be able to see on our computer. So this service pertains to cloud hosting services, and we will start with the 7 intersections that is listed. It's a year 2 plan. It's part of the year 2 plan, and I'm excited to get started with this one.
Will you be able to make adjustments from your desktop? Or do you still have to go out to the site?
We can actually make adjustment with our desktop. We did had those trials and the trainings 2 months ago, and we tried it onto our computers. And even on Sunday, we can get the notification. This is a flashing red light, and you can make an adjustment. And you can also call the contractor.
So if a light goes out, you'll be automatically notified?
Yes.
Okay.
And that will be a quick way to notify the emergency, police department, and everybody.
Right, then the police department can go out and put in their stop sign.
We have a stop sign, but we also have an emergency plan in hand, which will be more than just putting a stop sign. We can have a generator to put temporary.
Yeah, this is exciting, so you don't have to get in a car and go out and inspect it and open up a box or anything.
It should be quick.
Yeah, very good. All right, any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, any comments from the public? All right, seeing none, back to the board. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Congratulations.
Thank
I
you.
can't wait till you can do this. Keep us informed about how it's going. Okay. And item number 16, Chief Operating Officer and Senior Civil Engineer, to hear, consider, and act on authorizing the purchase. Oh, wait, is that what I just, no, we're on 16 now.
Very similar.
Okay, to hear, consider, and act on authorizing the purchasing authority to enter into the proposed agreement between the town of Fairfield and AKRF, Inc. for traffic engineering consulting services to develop construction documents for the signal replacement at this intersection of Mill Plain Road and Ludlow Road, with additional authority to enter into necessary change orders in an amount not to exceed the approved funding for this project. May I have a motion?
So moved. Let Brenda second.
Second.
Selectwoman Kupchak seconded.
So
Mega, yeah.
again, this is a part of the second year plan. We are already replacing one of the traffic signals at Sacred Heart University Drive in Park Avenue, which is undergoing right now. The construction is going on.
Right.
And this is the second in line, which was a second priority to be replaced because it's obviously because of its age and it's very, very old signal that needs a replacement. So this is for Mill Plain Road and Ludlow Road for the replacement of the full traffic signal, which will involve all the designing, surveying work, all the structural work, and after that is completed, we will go into the construction for this traffic signal, which is the part of your 2 plan. And similarly, we will be centralizing this intersection, putting a 360-degree cameras as well to monitor the traffic, crashes, and know the data. this is a good step forward
Yeah.
because we have a lot of old signals in our town which needs replacement.
Yeah, this is a big step.
Yeah.
The neighbors will be happy.
Yes, and
In terms of just the construction of installing the new traffic signal and disruption to that intersection, how long do you foresee?
it's like 3 to 4 months we see the construction usually. That shouldn't take more than 4 months. It's just a traffic signal installation.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Seeing none. Any comments from the public? More to come.
Yes,
Yeah, a lot more to come.
traffic signals.
This is Mega's life, traffic.
I should be traffic engineer of the town. Doing all the traffic engineering work.
The expert, yeah. Okay, back to the board. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mega. Item 17, Communications Director. Is Lisa Clare here? Is Lisa coming, do you know? To hear, consider, and act on approving a production scope and agreement between the town of Fairfield and A2V Media to create a series of PSA videos for the Safe Streets, Fairfield Safe Streets Alliance initiative at no cost to the town, and further authorizing the first selectman to sign any documents in furtherance of said agreement. You have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded. Now, I'm unclear on this item because Alex Vishnu has already done a tremendous amount of work on this, so I'm not sure why we have this item on. Alex, I don't know if the public, hopefully everyone's had a chance to see Alex's work, which was outstanding, and he did it, he donated his time and his equipment to doing public service announcements for Safe Streets, and really, really well received by the police and fire and everyone who saw them. Brenda, did you get a chance to see Alex's videos?
We actually used Alex during the pandemic.
Oh, yeah, no, I know. But for this,
get people to comply with the rules and to get people to stay home. And it was really great. And wearing masks, he did a bunch of videos.
Yeah,
with police
yeah.
and
He does great work.
Very good.
I always say, I've been saying that Alex should be a psychiatrist because he gets people to talk. When he interviews people, they just open up to him because he's so nice. Lisa, do you have anything you want to say about this item? Because Alex has already done all the work, so we don't have to approve this contract, do we? Or is it? Yeah.
So, hi, so what Alex would like to do is sign ownership of the 6 videos that he's done to the town. So the copyright for the videos, even though they were created by A2V Media, reverts over to the town because they were done on our behalf. So it's really just a procedural thing. It really doesn't change anything, though money is changing hands. He's done this pro bono.
This was his request for copyright reasons. Okay.
Yes. Yes,
Well,
only for that.
We cannot thank Alex enough. We've thanked him a lot, and we can't thank him enough because
He's been amazing all the way through. He did the PSA, which is almost 2 minutes in length, and then he cut out 6 additional videos and did 30-second videos, which we can use all summer long. And it really elevated our message and what we're able to say to the community.
he's an Emmy Award-winning videographer.
Emmy Award-winning, his entire team is extremely talented. We could not have been more fortunate to have them.
Yeah. People like being around him, and they open up and they feel comfortable talking in front of him. So
yeah, he was incredible.
Any comments or questions? Yes.
I just have a question just about this. I want to thank Alex and for the pro bono work that he's already done. But in reading this, also includes that if we want to hire him for additional services, that this contract just outlines what those fees will be.
Okay, terrific. We actually, depending on ongoing sponsorships, may have money for additional things in the future. This campaign is 4 months in length. We have our $5,000 grant. We have another $1,500 from Penske Automotive Group. We have another $1,800 from Minuteman Press. So we've actually got a little bit of money to spend. So if at some point in the future we decided we wanted to extend some sort of business opportunity to them, there is additional funding to do that.
Yeah, Lisa, you did such an outstanding job getting the money for this and pitching the idea to the private sector and bringing in people like Alex, who I'm glad I got to know. I would definitely use him many times over.
Well, he has done work for the town. He's done work for the police,
Brenda,
fire,
yeah.
for Parks and Rec. Yeah, he's a long-standing Fairfielder and cares very much about this. And I think the success of what we've been able to do so far only speaks to, Bill, the fact that people are very in tune with this message.
Yeah.
It's important to everyone. Walkers, bikers, drivers, everybody cares about our streets.
And there is a Vision Zero panel tonight at the library.
Starting at 6:30,
6:30,
goes till 8:30.
Second floor of the library.
Second floor of the library, yes.
And, we've had some real tragedy lately in the past few years, but also just a few days ago. So we've had deaths in Fairfield. We need to make our roads safer. And this campaign, it's just starting, and we need people to think about the implications of the way they drive and the tragedy that can happen in a second, without, if you're not paying attention. And
It's really true. We keep saying slow down, but as Bill Ravis said, also just as important is to be alert, to really pay attention.
Yeah, and it was nice to have Bill on the video. And, at the Mayor Lady was, I think, was it Sarah Kitt who brought up, who mentioned Mayor Lady at the.
Denise Fernandez's daughter, sister-in-law, daughter-in-law, I can't recall what family member was to her, but yes. We have had terrible tragedies, but there's another Bill Ravis video that we'll share later on this summer, and that's 30 seconds in length, and it does talk a little bit about Megan and the impact of her death.
And we've had such great collaboration with Hector Irizarry and Bob Calamaris and Mike Paris and Mike Calm on the police force. They're all in on this. It's amazing, and the school district.
Absolutely. Everybody's been involved, including the high schoolers.
Yeah.
Like you said, at Fairfield Ward High School, they created our logo. So we've really had a huge participation from so many different, the health department, the libraries, the schools, the bike ped committee, fire, police. It's been a real joint effort.
Yep. And, I think for Alex, it's been a great opportunity and for him to meet a lot of people. I think he'll be top of mind whenever anyone has video needs going forward.
I hope so.
Okay, any other comments from the board?
No, just thank you for your work, and I'm sorry I missed the kickoff event. I heard that it was very well attended, so thank you to all those people that braved the heat to be out there for this.
Can't believe you went on vacation.
I was back from vacation. I was working that day.
Okay.
I was working.
Any comments from the public? Okay, back to the board. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you. Unanimous. Thank you, Lisa.
Hey, my pleasure.
Tremendous amount of work that you did on this and on everything.
My pleasure.
Pulling together people to collaborate and get stuff done. Really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Lisa.
Bye-bye, Lisa. Okay, number 18, item 18, minutes. To hear and approve the draft minutes of May 28th, 2025, June 2nd, 2025, June 4th, 2025, June 12th, 2025, and that's it, June 12th, 2025.
Can we break out the June 4th meeting, please?
Yeah, sure. Would you like to break out all of the meetings or just June 4th?
I mean, just that one, I think, be easier for you.
Okay. May I have a motion to make a motion to hear and approve the draft minutes for June 4th, 2025?
So moved.
Okay. Any comments from the board?
Second, Brenda seconds.
Brenda, second. Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none.
I'm abstaining because I wasn't
Right.
at that meeting.
Right, okay. Any comments from the public? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no.
And abstentions?
Okay, abstentions, we have one from Brenda, because she wasn't here. Okay, item passes. And then to hear and approve the draft minutes of the remainder of the meetings on June 2nd, May 28th, 2025, June 2nd, 2025, and June 12th, 2025. May I have a motion? Right?
There's 2 minutes.
There's two for the June
That's from
12th.
June 12th.
It's June 12th and June 12th, 2025.
So moved.
Okay, second.
Let her say. She's-
Second by Brenda. Any questions or comments? Why were there two on June 12th?
Because there was a CRC, there was a
CRC, right, we had to,
CRC.
Any comments from the board or questions? Seeing none, any comments from the public? Back to the board, all in favor say aye.
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 Okay, motion passes unanimously. Okay, refunds, item 19. To consider and act upon tax refunds as recommended by the tax collector in the amount of $80,461.46. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any comments on this item from the board? Any comments from the public? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Item passes unanimously. Okay, item 20, First Selectman to hear updates from the First Selectman. Charter revision, we had a very good, productive charter revision meeting. Was that yesterday?
Yes, it was,
Yesterday.
last night.
We made a number of requests to the Charter Revision Commission for changes that they consider. They have 30 days to consider and make those changes. And they will come back, what's the date on, with their revised charter, come back to the Board of Selectmen. I think it was July 7th, was it?
I
No.
think that we were talking
They'll
about.
be
the night.
meeting.
They're meeting tomorrow.
They're meeting tomorrow to discuss making those changes. I think they believe it'll be a quick meeting, because I think they understand what we have asked them to do. Tomorrow is the 6th, right? And then they have 30 days to come back to the Board of Selectmen with their revisions, and then we'll review that. There will be an opportunity for the public to weigh in at that point as well. Do you want to make any comments on that, Brenda?
My understanding was we hadn't picked the meeting date yet for them to bring us back. We were gonna, I guess Jen was gonna send out some options.
Yeah, but I thought
We had talked about trying to,
26 is what, didn't we?
I think that we talked about trying to piggyback it on July 9th, being that we know that that the three of us are already available and scheduling.
Yeah, the actual,
But I think that nothing's been
formalized,
Nothing has been formalized, but that was mentioned at the meeting last night, and I just want to thank those members of the CRC who were with us last night that helped us move through the process, and appreciate the discussion, and I'm really optimistic that the remaining of this process will be pretty straightforward.
Okay, all right, thank you. Eli, would you like to give an update on the facilities? We had a meeting yesterday with Spiegels, who has been fleshing out some potential options for the Dwight and Mona Terrace sites and Giant Steps. Yeah, you're the expert. I think you understood it better than I did.
No worries. So yesterday we had a meeting, another progress meeting with Spiegels. What they shared with us were basically refined conceptual plans. So they originally shared with us last progress meeting, very high level conceptual plans.
And Jeff Peterson was on. Mr. Testani, the superintendent Testani was there.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Lee was there. You, me,
and Angelus Papa
George.
So we went through some of the refined conceptual plans for the Dwight site. Those are the five plans that we had originally shown on the matrix, which include renovation of Dwight with no addition, renovation of Dwight with an addition, no ECC, renovation of Dwight with an addition and 5 new classrooms for an ECC, new build of Dwight with no ECC, and a complete new build with 5 new classrooms for an ECC. So very high-level conceptual plans, just basically showing floor layouts and potential locations for the new build and for the additions. What they also showed with us were some conceptual plans for the first time yesterday for the Jennings site, which will show as a 5-classroom ECC as an addition to Jennings. There was 2 options for where the addition could be placed. So that for the first time, we saw some conceptual plans for that.
And they completed a traffic study.
They completed the traffic study. I have not received the traffic study report, but the traffic study was completed. So once I receive the report, I'll upload that to our website where you can see updates. Something new that was also shared with us were conceptual plans for the Mona Terrace building, where they were exploring either a 5-section ECC or a 10-section ECC specifically at the Mona Terrace. Again, very high level. I think some of them were hand-drawn, so they're developing these as the weeks go on. And again, once all these conceptual plans are finalized, they're going to go to a professional outside estimator to give us real costs as to what these conceptual plans show. And as of right now, we remain on schedule for a completion in mid-August.
I think I have gotten a lot out of these meetings with Spiegels, and a couple of very interesting changes from what I think we thought before.
Mm-hmm.
Number one is that they have opined on that we cannot put a second floor on Jennings, that the structure will not support a second floor for the ECC. You know, there was discussion on moving maybe some of the older kids upstairs and then putting the ECC on the first floor. And they said that this building would not be recommended, which for me, that's different, you know, because in the past we were talking about building a second floor, I think, in some, but not.
I think that was, I mean, just in some of the Board of Ed meetings that I attended, I don't think that there really was any plan for Jennings. I think it was very much, might there be the possibility to go up, or
Right.
you
Well,
know,
I think
could
they've
we
narrowed
add
that
on,
down.
and what would be the in terms of setbacks? And there was an acknowledgement that we would need to have professionals come in and really get into that building.
Right. And so the professionals have gone in, they've said,
So
there's
that's-
really not an opportunity to go up.
Which is
Something.
And did they
limits some
make
of the options.
similar?
Can I just a point of order? This wasn't on the agenda, and I'm wondering if, you know, we should, because I'm sure there's a lot of parents who are
Yeah,
interested
that's a
in
good
this.
point. Yeah,
Well,
that's a good point.
And I just, Ms. Kupchak, I was in today and just asked, I had asked that this be a standing agenda item as part of the first Selectmen's update. I don't know, and it wasn't. I mean, I'm happy to make a motion just to add it to the agenda. I don't know if if the superintendent reported out to the Board of Ed last night, but I'm not looking for really a robust discussion, but just a little bit, just to get it on the record. I know that there has been a lot of, you know, concern, especially from the Dwight community, of getting updates and being that school is not in order. And
Well, we do have
Section-
a website now, right?
Yeah, exactly what I'm saying right now is actually on the website as an update. I posted
And
it
a
this morning.
having it standing on the agenda, you know, when there's very rarely, like, it's really when Spiegels comes in to give us an update that there's something to talk about. So usually there's nothing really to talk about unless Spiegels comes in with some updates. So,
well, and I think my understanding is that your meetings were you were meeting every 2 weeks, I think, originally or so.
I think
And
the
it
last-
just seems like it's been like your meetings with them seems to be either like the day before or like hours before our meeting. And even
not every 2 weeks.
even if there's no update, like, I think that's still an update, that you have no information.
Okay.
It's really
I
just
mean,
for.
that is not a problem to have an update and just say, no update, just to.
Yeah, that we haven't, we're still waiting, just so people know that where we are in the process, there's a lot of concern about just that August timeline and getting the information to know that we're still on schedule to, that deadline, I think, is still an
Yeah.
update.
And I do encourage anybody that has any questions or anything like that, if they want updates, please visit the Capital Projects website.
Right.
Where you can see all the documents that we've received to date, and updates.
They're interesting. They are interesting and worth looking at. And and within that, like I said, there's some little tidbits of things that might not be things that people knew before that we've learned from Spiegels. And one is second floor, building up at Jennings is not viable. The other is that we thought that all the walls at Dwight were load bearing and couldn't be moved. That's not the case. We can actually move walls at Dwight.
Can I just
Yes.
make a motion just to add this discussion to the agenda?
Sure, okay.
An update under the first selectmen.
Second, yeah.
Vote on it.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so this item update, under updates, we've added update on the facilities project. So,
Yeah, so to your point, Bill, some of the things that we've learned is the Dwight interior walls, not all of them are load bearing, which gives us the opportunity to reconfigure the classrooms within the Dwight space itself. Another interesting fact is the new build that they are proposing is actually not completely on the upper field. It is basically built into the slope that leads up to the upper field. So a lot of that upper field area will remain as a field of some sort.
right, which is important for Parks and Rec, to
Yes,
maintain
yeah.
the field space, yeah.
So right now, they're going through all the options, and again, once we receive cost estimates and actual pricing, that's all going to be within the final report. And they do, within the meeting, show us what the draft report is looking like. And so we've asked to see a copy of that digitally. But again, we haven't received any formal reports yet, everything is in draft form.
Right,
So-
but the things that people can see on the website really are interesting, and they're different from what has been discussed. I mean, building into the hill on the way up has created, that idea has created more options for configuring the, Dwight, and also the potential to do new construction and not have to relocate
The fields.
So, or the field or the kids during construction, I think.
Right.
Has that been, well, I mean, there's a lot.
It's not final.
A lot, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
there's a lot because we don't know in terms of costing and.
Right.
We haven't talked about accessibility where, yeah.
Even if this is the plan that's put forward may not necessarily be, I mean, there's gonna be, if this moves forward as a building project, there's gonna be a building committee
Yes,
for this, and they have the option potentially to go out and get another plan.
yes.
But I think that this is very
But
much
we're
new.
making progress on developing options for
And I think that it's
discussion.
very,
And they're doing, in my opinion, they're doing a really, really good job. They're being creative, thinking of things that haven't been discussed before, and also nailing down or narrowing some of the unknowns that created a lot of moving pieces. They're narrowing the scope of some of the moving pieces by saying, yes, you can move some of these walls, and which is huge. It's
no,
really
it's
big.
absolutely important information to have of what you can do with the existing building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any information, I know you don't have any reports in terms of like the soil borings, anything on the septic?
No formal soil boring report has been provided yet. They said, hopefully, I believe they said by the end of this week, we should have something in our hands. But from the very high level, they said it looked much better than they originally thought. This is very high level. They didn't think that there was a lot of ledge up in the field, although they do believe that there's kind of a vein that runs north to south in the middle of the field. So to be determined as far as that, the report will give us more information.
And just for Mona Terrace, has there been any more discussion or data provided in terms of state funding for that, for renovation in terms of reimbursement? What,
So the Mona Terrace property is bounded by the FEMA 50/50. So we cannot do much to that building. I think our cap is 3 million and change. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, I believe it's 3 million and change.
Half of the valuation, which is about 7 million.
Yeah.
About 3.5 million.
So yeah, there's this very initial talks on that front.
well, even just for the state reimbursement, you know, they have guidelines in terms of they won't reimburse, I believe, for
On a female
projects that are
floodplain,
in
yeah.
a floodplain.
Yeah.
So I would just, again, very much appreciate the information that we're getting, but from the school perspective, just be conscious of like how feasible really is it from a cost perspective before we spend money potentially going down a road we know isn't gonna lead nowhere, and that building could be used for now, you know, other community needs there, so,
Yeah, that's definitely
And
part
we're
of the
also
consideration.
looking at a 10 section ECC on the Giant Steps property where the, you know,
so we're building a totally new school there.
yeah, they're looking at that.
And was there any discussion about Osborne Hill? I know that.
Yes, they're looking at that as well.
Building there as well.
On the hill there, yeah.
Okay.
We didn't
Did not
talk
see
about
it.
that the other day.
Yeah, we didn't see any
Ran
conceptual
out of
drawings
time.
on that, yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Thank you very much just for.
Thanks, Eli.
Yeah, no
So we'll put
problem.
it on the
Sure.
agenda.
Yeah, just, I think that, I mean, I know that this could be, at some point as you get closer, you know, for the public to be able to be here, but at
Okay.
least people can tune into the meeting and get an update, just.
No problem.
So thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for picking up, for not noticing it. But
The only announcement I have is tonight, there's a Vision Zero panel. Thank you so much, Eli. Vision Zero panel discussion at the library. Well, it was beginning at 6:30. And hope we can see people there. It should be very interesting. And any announcements?
before that, I think that we have to let the attorneys know for executive session.
Yes.
That we're getting.
Can I ask, I have a request for some information, for possibly our next meeting, if we could get it by then.
Okay.
So I've been getting some calls and emails, and so people are asking on the parking authority, an update on lease negotiations, appointing the new advisory board, which you just mentioned, because, that all the members apparently have resigned. Personnel hiring updates now that there's no administrator, what the new reporting structure changes are, changes in the fund balances already made and planned, capital projects that were voted on, passed, and the money moved to cover them, closing the northbound station house and moving apparently the Fairfield Theater Company Art Gallery into the space.
Right.
Which I think is a violation of a lease, I was told, with the state. And I think this, well, not me, but people think this is going to cause significant problems for commuters and students who use that to take shelter and use the bathroom. Eliminating the service of who cleans the station houses, bathrooms on a regular basis. Something about backing out of an agreement with Fairfield U that to sell permits to students to park on the Mill Plain Road lot, and something about who's picking up the garbage. And I'm happy to send this in writing, but I'm getting people asking questions about it, and some of this stuff raised an eyebrow with me because I wasn't aware of some of these things. So I think it's important that we, have a meeting and get information, so not just the board gets it, but also the community can have an opportunity to get all that information. And I'd be happy to put that in an email.
Sure. Yeah, put it
Jennifer.
in. Yeah, I think you should put it in an email, and those are all things that we're working on. I don't know who's worried about this stuff. We've been meeting, HR has been meeting with the personnel to work out how they're gonna, who they're reporting to. And,
But
You're
I
right.
can send it, we can post it, you know, if you put it on the agenda, that way people can tune in who
Okay.
care about it and
Sure.
can get the answers then.
Yeah,
And
let's
I
do
just
that at
wanted
the
a
next
moment of
meeting.
Perfect. And I just wanted a moment of personal privilege. I didn't get a chance to say it when you guys were talking about the charter piece at the end there. You were giving an update. And, you know, I felt, you know, I really walked away last night really disappointed. You know, I've tried very hard to participate when asked by the commission. I have attended the meetings. I've offered thoughtful input from my experience, and I voted for all the motions made last night. And the one motion that I offered was dismissed. And, you know, I'm trying to make a good faith effort here to be very different than the experience that I had when I was the chief elected official and had a CRC that was, I can't think of any other word, but harassed, and very long, tedious, thousands of questions about every single word that was proposed. And I think I've been very agreeable. And honestly, I really was wanting to vote for the charter revision because I think it's important. But I have to say that I felt very dismissed last night. And I felt that one situation that happened is now going to take away the belief and the faith in a commission that I think is very important. And honestly, it's enough for me to not vote for the charter. And so I feel very disappointed because, I'll say it again, I've tried very hard to be agreeable, to be open-minded, to work with the board, to vote for all the other motions. And the one—
Brenda, do you have a new dog?
Yeah, he's having fun and it's great.
What kind of dog do you have? I know you used to have beagles.
Her dog is pretty damn cute.
I don't know.
Like,
Come here,
can you
Ogie.
show
Come
us?
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a pretty hyper guy.
Oh, is he part
everybody.
hound? He looks
He's
like,
part of everything.
yeah. Oh, is he a rescue?
Yes,
He's
he is.
adorable. Look at him.
That little patch on, the patch on the eye.
Oh, what's his name?
He does look like Wishbone. He does look
What's
like
his
Looks
name?
like Petey. His name
What's
is
his-
OG after Nick.
OG? Okay.
He's a
Oh, he's
a New York
adorable. Congratulations.
So cute.
Look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh, what a good boy.
I mean,
I feel a good
OG.
boy.
you guys with your
OG,
dog.
say bye, everybody, because Daddy's gonna
Look
take
at
you now.
OG. He's so cute. Oh my God.
Okay, you go.
Well, I would have to echo, I think you have been agreeable. The meetings have been pleasant. You know, not all our meetings are pleasant,
And
but
believe me, they were not pleasant when I was there. They were anything but pleasant. And I believe that was a universal thought by everybody. And I'm trying because listen, I love this town. I'm a fourth generation Fairfielder. My 4 generations of my family have invested in this town, and I care deeply about it. And I just am so disappointed. I really am, because, I feel like one situation that happened is going to undermine the integrity of something that is really, really important. And
well, I hope that's not the case. Because I think, it was mostly really a lot of collaboration and a lot of good discussion. And, the motions made, they were all pretty much unanimous.
I mean, the motions that I put forward were really, based on the conversation that the 3 of us had, and when there seemed to be collaboration, I just figured I would make a master list to try to just move our meeting along, and it was already 3 hours. Just to try to keep us on task.
And it's natural that we had disagreement on one item. We can't always agree.
What I basically just wanted to say is that I'm hoping that you will both reconsider the importance of this commission, and that it really does require a unanimous approval, and there's a reason why that is, and why it's singularly different than every other commission. So that our community and the people who may reach out to that commission and people who may be under the view of that commission will feel very comfortable with the people that are on it. And we've never had an issue where we're looking for people. There's always people applying for it.
Yeah.
And I think it's and I mean, right now, there is not a, Republican majority on it, and it's not about party. I think it's just about courtesy, and I think it sends a message to our community that all three members who may disagree on a whole host of things can agree on that. And so I just wanted to share that. I don't think we need to have a big discussion about it. I just wanted to share my thoughts. I have to say, I was pretty deflated last night. And I felt bad about it because I want to support this charter. I really do.
Yeah.
And I want it to have a chance, and I can't do it if that item remains.
Okay.
So I just wanted to share that.
Well, we should be thinking about that and whether,
Well, yeah, and right now it's back with the CRC, and they may or may not even take our recommendation. So I guess at this point, we'll have to wait and see after what comes back to us.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for the moment for privilege. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I appreciate how robust the discussion was, and I thought it was a really good meeting. Yesterday was long, but it was good. And
It was good.
And we have executive session now.
Look, I have an announcement.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mentioned before that our current controller is leaving. Just want to thank Ms. Bossy for her years of service to our community and wish her the best in her, whatever her next venture may be. And also, I don't think we have a Board of Selectmen meeting before Independence Day, so wish everybody a happy 4th of July. Safe, happy, and safe 4th of July.
No fireworks at your
Town
house.
fireworks are Saturday night.
Town fireworks. Don't do it in your backyard. Don't blow off your fingers like.
No in your backyard.
Down the giant
no in parking lots. Saturday night, and I trust that details about any ceremony on the 4th will be in the newsletter. So just want to wish everyone a safe and happy holiday.
Thank you.
That's it. Sure.
And I just want to piggyback on Caitlin. I had an opportunity to work with Caitlin very closely, and, she really stepped up and was the interim CFO for my first year when I didn't have a CFO. And she is extraordinarily bright, organized, hardworking. She's tremendous. And it's unfortunate that the town's going to lose her because she really, really was a huge asset for this town and just will leave some very big shoes to fill.
Yeah, I think Caitlin is very talented, and I think she's going to do well wherever she goes. I actually don't know where she's going, but I'm sure she's going somewhere because she's very well regarded around Connecticut. Big shoes to fill, and we will work very hard to make sure we get someone competent, in that position. But, all the experience that she has is going to be hard to replace immediately. I mean, it's going to take a while for anyone to fill that position. So, thank you. Any other moments, points of privilege or announcements or? Okay, well then, may I make a motion to go into executive session?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Wait, no. Wait, you have to read it.
Yes, okay. Motion to go into executive session with Town Attorney Phil Piers and Attorney Rick Aiken to discuss a pending litigation, Stephen Blitzman versus Town of Fairfield, W899-317-665. May I have a second?
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
We'll be going into executive session. I'm going to call Attorney Aiken.
Yes, one
Recording in progress.
I'd like to make a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 I'd like to make a motion to proceed with the settlement in the pending claim litigation, Stephen Blitzman versus the town of Fairfield, W8993-17665, as suggested by Attorney Rick Aiken. Made the motion.
So moved.
Second. Yeah.
Second.
All in favor? Any discussion or all in favor say aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. I may have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Seconded? All in favor say aye.
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 All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, Brenda.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
night, Brenda.
Thank you,
Okay,
Chris.
take care. Have a good evening.
You
You
too.
too.